Welcome back, Ghostlings, to your weekly ghost story vlog. Now, Ghostlings, once again, there is no time to answer a question about myself because we have a long ghost story. Today's ghost story comes from KG Roll X, and their title is My Grandfather Saw His Dead Neighbor Waving at Him, which is pretty impressive because dead people can't wave. So I'm wondering, is this a body? But it's probably going to be a ghost. Maybe it's a ghost possessing a body, which sometimes happens. But it's time to find out, Ghostlings. No more playing around. Something serious. This is a story my grandfather told me when he was young. It happened in Poland sometime in the 1960s or 70s. His family lived on a farm in the middle of nowhere. To get there, you had to leave the main road, first red flag, Ghostlings, and drive a few kilometers on a smaller road, then turn again and continue for several more kilometers on a dirt road through fields. Ghostlings, this is the perfect place for, well, evil things to happen. So if you live in a place like this, Ghostlings, something terrible is going to happen to you. For that time, especially under communism, his family had quite a lot of land to work. A lot of land, Ghostlings. You know who else has a lot of land? People who need to hide things, like their taxes. About 200 meters away from their house was the farm of their closest neighbor. Because the area was so remote, the two families had a very warm and friendly relationship. So we led to believe, Ghostlings, but I don't ever believe that two neighbors can become friends. I never met two neighbor friends that have remained friends. Are you friends with your neighbors? I don't trust mine. Mine are also ghosts. Everyone knew each other. People visited often, and they would regularly meet while working in the fields. I do not know the exact time of year, but it was during harvest season. Probably in the fall then. When else do you harvest things? Because my grandfather was working a lot on the fields back then. At that time, hardly anyone had a tractor or proper means of transport. But somewhere in the village was a Soviet van, and sometimes the driver would give my grandfather a ride to the village. One evening, my grandfather was dropped off near the farms. I don't know if he had been in the village or if someone had picked him up from the fields. Goldthings, there's a lot of questions that aren't being answered in this story. When he got out of the van, he saw his neighbor standing by the gate, waving at him. Okay, was the neighbor smiling? Did he look friendly? Did he look like a corpse? Important questions that we will not get answers to. It was already evening, and my grandfather thought the neighbor wanted him to come over for a drink, a cigarette, or just to talk. Goslings, that's presumptuous. You think you see someone standing there and you go, you want to have a drink with me? No, okay, do you want a cigarette? And if not, do you want to talk? Goslings, is your first instinct, you want to drink with me? I've never had friends, so if someone could tell me, that would be great. That was not unusual between the two households. So my grandfather started walking towards the gate, but when he got closer, I could not see anyone there. He thought maybe the neighbor had gone to the garden or was waiting for him in the courtyard. When he arrived, he looked around, but saw no one. Then he noticed a body lying near the gate. Oh, it was his neighbor! At first, my grandfather thought he had collapsed or suddenly felt ill. After all, he had just seen him standing there and waving only a few moments before. When he tried to move the body, he immediately felt how cold it was. He realized the man had already been dead for some time. There was nobody in the house, and there was no phone nearby, so my grandfather had to call for help. Now, Goslings, I don't want to ruin the mood because that was a good punch, the gut. That was spooky. I got goosey bumpsy. But was this grandfather just running down the field going, help, help, dead person probably, help, help, help. Or did he have a plan, Goslings? The visual of someone running in a field yelling help is amusing to me. I'm sorry. Let's continue. Eventually, when medical help arrived, they confirmed the neighbor was dead. Rest in peace, Mr. Neighbor. We didn't know your name. We just knew you might have wanted a drink, a cigarette, or just to talk. That's all we knew about you. As far as I know, they assumed it had been a heart attack. But again, how old was this neighbor Goldstings? I have so many follow-up questions to the story. Was this man older? Was it a surprise heart attack? Did he see the heart attack coming? Sometimes you do. Strangest part is that my grandfather was absolutely sure he had seen the neighbor standing at the gate, waving at him. But by the time he reached him, the man was already dead and cold. My granddad died in 1999, so unfortunately I can't ask him for more details. He had some interesting stories that I remember well. So if anyone is interested, I can share them here. Golson, we are interested. Everyone go to this Reddit page right now and say, we the Medium Anarchists and Goslings are interested in more stories of the ghostly variety, because this feels like a ghost story. Now, Goslings, this story, to me, feels like a friend saying goodbye. You have a lot of moments like these where people, as they're transitioning to the afterlife, take a moment to say goodbye. In this case, the grandpa thought the ghost was saying hi, but because we use the same gesture for bye, the ghost was probably sad and was waving like this, and there was probably a tear, a sad tear. Goodbye, my friend. We will never have a drink, cigarette, or talk again. And then he was gone. Or perhaps the ghost didn't want his body to be left there rotting for many days. So maybe the ghost is saying, please, for the love of God, find me before I become a corpse, and not just kind of cold. What do you think, ghostlings? Do you think this is a final farewell to the grandfather, or do you think the ghost said, please get the body out of here? Let me know your thoughts down below, and if you have your own ghost story, be sure to comment them here or on Reddit so we can all read them and judge them together. Have a fantastic weekend, ghostlings, and I'll see you back here for more Reddit ghost stories. Farewell.